Rapper A$AP Rocky's trial is expected to resume today with witnesses and detectives taking the stand. A$AP Rocky, whose real name is Rakeem Mayers, faces felony charges for allegedly firing a gun at a former friend.
It doesn't matter about what he said about the jury. That has no bearing on any decision I'm going to make.
Rapper A$AP Rocky's trial is expected to resume today with witnesses and detectives taking the stand. A$AP Rocky, whose real name is Rihanna Mayer, faces felony charges for allegedly firing a gun at a former friend. It doesn't matter about what he said about the jury. That has no bearing on any decision I'm going to make. So A$AP Rocky is officially on trial and things are getting wild. Word on the street is that Rihanna is looking pretty upset because her boyfriend and baby daddy might be facing decades behind bars, probably missing their son's birthdays for the next 20 years. It's a mess, y'all. A$AP arrived solo, but inside Rihanna was front and center as they both put on a united display. Rihanna sitting with Rocky's mom and sister loved the co-Rocky. The trial has already turned into a circus, from the judge flirting with Rocky's mom to witnesses dropping major bombshells and Rocky's lawyers pulling some moves that had completely thrown the prosecution off guard. There's drama everywhere, but here's the big twist. The prosecution offered Rocky a plea deal where he'd admit to one count of felony, take some anger management classes and do community service. But get this, Rocky turned it down. Now the internet is split. Some think he's crazy for rejecting what they're calling a sweetheart deal, while others argue the deal doesn't make sense because Rocky didn't even do what they said he did. And of course people are comparing this to the Tory Lanez trial, wondering if Rocky could get 10 years like Tory did. So are the odds really stacked against Rocky, and what exactly does Rihanna have to do with all of this? Stick around because this trial is only getting crazier if you haven't been keeping up. A$AP Rocky is currently on trial for allegedly at his own crew member A$AP Rocky. Now you think this case would be simple, either Rocky did it or he didn't, right? But nope, this trial has more twists and turns than a soap opera. First off, people online are debating whether this case should even exist in the first place. It all started when A$AP Rocky and REI got into a heated argument, reportedly because REI believed Rocky failed to pay for the funeral arrangements of a fellow crew member who had passed away. The disagreement escalated and now Rocky is facing serious charges. For some background, before A$AP Rocky became the global rap star we know today, he was part of the ASAP mob. The group was founded in 2006 in Harlem, New York, and was made up of rappers, producers, music video directors, and fashion designers. A big part of their identity was putting ASAP before their names, so we got A$AP Rocky, A$AP Ferg, A$AP 2, A$AP REI, and so on. Now since Rocky became the biggest name from the crew, he also became the wealthiest, and with that success came expectations. Some of the other members expected Rocky to step up and support them financially. That's where things started getting messy. Really, in particular, seemed to feel Rocky wasn't doing enough for the group, and that's where their conflict began. It all went down back in 2021 when a member of the ASAP mob passed away. Many people assumed that A$AP Rocky, being the most successful and wealthy of the group, would step in and cover some, if not all, of the funeral expenses, but ASAP REI believed Rocky had turned his back on the crew and didn't contribute. Feeling betrayed, REI decided to confront Rocky, leading to a heated altercation just a block away from the famous Hollywood Walk of Fame. Things escalated quickly, and at some point Rocky allegedly pulled out and aimed it in Ree's direction. Now this isn't just based on word of mouth, there's actual CCTV footage that captured part of the confrontation. Music. In the grainy video, Rocky and REI can be seen getting physical before someone steps in to break them apart, but then Rocky appears to reach for something, his gun. However, the footage also shows him tucking it away, leaving a huge question mark over what really happened next. According to REI, Rocky didn't just brandish the weapon, he actually fired it. He claims that one of the bullets grazed his knuckles and he later sought medical attention after flying back to Los Angeles. But here's where things get suspicious. REI didn't report the incident to the police immediately. Instead, he waited several days before filing a report. Now if someone shoots at you and you actually get hit, wouldn't your first instinct be to get help and alert the cops right away? The delay in reporting has raised a lot of eyebrows, and Rocky's defense team is using it as a key argument to challenge Ree's claims. The biggest problem: the CCTV footage isn't crystal clear and it doesn't capture the full event. This means that both the prosecution and defense have to rely heavily on witness testimonies, and so far things aren't looking great for the prosecution. Their star witness ASAP REI hasn't exactly been the most convincing on the stand. In fact, a lot of Rocky's fans online believe that REI isn't just holding a grudge but that he's also a straight-up snitch. Many fans feel that instead of handling the matter privately within the ASAP mob, REI ran to the police, airing out their business for the whole world to see. And in the hip-hop world, that's considered the ultimate betrayal. But Rocky's legal team isn't holding back, and they've made it clear what they believe this case is really about. In his opening statement, Rocky's lawyer Joe Takapa didn't mince words, saying this case is about one man's jealousy which lies in greed. This is all about money, plain and simple, a clear attempt at extortion, period, end of story. But believe it or not, that's not even the top 5 messiest things happening in this trial. As we mentioned, the trial kicked off on January 24 and right out of the gate controversy exploded over the jury selection. The jury consists of 7 women and 5 men, but here's the kicker: not a single one of them is black. Now, considering that both Rocky and the alleged victim ASAP Rocky are black and that the trial is taking place in Los Angeles, a city with a significant black population, people are calling foul. Social media went wild with frustration, questioning how in a case with such high media attention there wasn't a single black juror chosen. And it's not just fans raising concerns. Reverend Al Sharpton himself has spoken out, slamming the jury selection process. Sharpton released a statement saying, "I have been closely in touch with ASAP Rocky's friends, and though I do not know all the details of the trial, I do know one thing: he deserves a fair trial judged by a jury of his peers, as is his constitutional right. It is absolutely unacceptable that the jury lacks diversity when we have a black population in Los Angeles. Out of 106 potential jurors, not a single black person was among the first 30 candidates. Something isn't right with this system." But then again, this case just keeps getting weirder, and the police investigation is no exception. When ASAP Rocky finally decided to report the alleged shooting, the police went straight to the scene to investigate. You'd think they'd find solid evidence, right? Well, that's where things get strange. Despite searching thoroughly, officers found nothing: no shell casings, no bullet fragments, no signs that a shooting even happened. But here's where it gets even more suspicious. After the police had already combed the area and walked away empty-handed, really somehow managed to find shell casings himself. Yep, after an entire investigative team came up short, REI supposedly went back, magically discovered shell casings, and then handed them over to the police as evidence. Now ask yourself, how does that even make sense? The police, who are literally trained to find this kind of stuff, missed it. But real AI, who isn't an investigator, just casually stumbles across them. It's no surprise that people are side-eyeing this part of the case. If the jury buys that story, a lot of people will be shocked. But if you thought that was wild, wait until you hear this. ASAP Rocky turned down a plea deal. Right now, Rocky is facing 2 counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm. If convicted, he could be looking at 24 years behind bars. That's decades of his life on the line. So when the prosecution offered him a plea deal, a lot of people assumed he'd take it. The deal was pretty straightforward: plead guilty to 1 felony count, serve 6 months in jail but with a suspended 7-year sentence plus 3 years of probation, 500 hours of community service and anger management classes. That means as long as he stayed out of trouble and followed the terms, he wouldn't even have to serve real jail time. But Rocky wasn't having it. When asked about the plea deal, he simply said, "I respectfully declined." The 36-year-old, who faces 24 years in prison if convicted, has pleaded not guilty, and today he rejected a plea deal offer of 180 days in jail, saying, quote, "I respectfully decline." You concerned about rejecting the plea deal? This decision instantly divided public opinion. On one side, people thought Rocky should have taken the deal. After all, 180 days with no actual jail time is a way better outcome than risking 24 years behind bars. Why gamble with his future when he could just get this over with? On the other side, fans are saying Rock did the right thing by rejecting it. If he truly believes he's innocent, why should he plead guilty to something he didn't do? Plus, taking a felony charge even without jail time could be devastating for his career. A felony conviction could make it harder to travel, book shows, and work with certain brands. ASAP Rocky's decision to reject the plea deal wasn't just about avoiding jail, it was about protecting his entire career. A source close to him told TMZ that taking the deal would be a career-ending move. Why? Because the moment he pleads guilty, he'd lose everything: his endorsement deals with Gucci and Puma, his invite to the Met Gala, and most importantly, his ability to tour. And in the music industry, if you can't tour, your career is basically on life support. But at GE